Hi, my name is Jake Spainhauer, and I'll be presenting today on the article called Who Needs Budgets? This article focuses on the changing budgets, on how budgets should be changing companies. The old budget as we know it has gone the way of the abacus or the Rolodex. It should no longer be used for setting goals. Companies need to be looking at how they can use an adaptive process. And I'll go into this on the next slide on how exactly this can be obtained. The new budget or the adaptive process is something that will lead to long-term growth versus the old budget, which focuses on short-term growth. The old budget contributes to cases of fraud as managers are focused more on cutting short-term costs and meeting short-term profits. This causes them to do sketchy things, which have led to the downfalls of large companies such as Enron and WorldCom. It can cause managers to try to protect their costs rather than minimize costs. Minimizing costs, an example of minimizing costs would be trying to cut fixed costs year over year. While minimizing costs is maybe foregoing a needed maintenance on a vehicle. Companies that have implemented old budgets are focused more on a goal year after year, whereas an adaptive process is continually changing. An example, as I was reading this article, I thought of an example of Homer Simpson. He's really focused on short-term growth, and one day he learns that his company's stock has gone up to 25 cents, which would net him a profit of $25. And he gets excited thinking of all the donuts and beer he can buy. And he is devastated the next day after he had sold when he realizes that the company's stock has gone up to $52 and he could have made thousands of dollars rather than 25 bucks. He sees his coworkers driving around nice cars and having other nice things while he had spent his money on beer. Companies that are like Homer and focus on short-term growth, they're the ones that are going to be going out of business. While companies that are patient and look at long-term growth are the ones that are going to be rewarded in the end. Companies need to look at how they're awarding bonuses. They should look at awarding bonuses based on managers and employees creating new opportunities and looking at ways to expand the business versus the old way of if they meet X amount of dollars in profit, they'll get a bonus or a percentage of the profit. Google has done a good job of this as they've encouraged their employees to spend 20% of their time working on their own projects. Although this rule isn't necessarily in place at Google anymore, they've implemented a culture where employees are encouraged to seek opportunities that they think will best benefit the company. Finally, companies need to look at a rolling forecast. A rolling forecast is something that's constantly changing. Volvo is one company that has implemented a rolling forecast. They look at each month, they look 3 months into the future, and they're constantly changing. So if something disrupts their market, they're able to be quick on their feet, and they're able to change what they need. They're able to change how much parts they're ordering, look at demand. Whereas old companies that use old budgets, they're stuck with their budget for a full year. So if something happens during the year that changes the budget, they're unable to adapt. Companies that don't adapt an example is Blockbuster. They kept doing the same thing and they went out of business. Whereas companies that are quickly adapting like Netflix are the ones that prosper in the long run. In conclusion, to summarize the article, companies need to change the way they look at budgets. They need to use budgets as better planning tools, and they need to be constantly evaluating their budget month after month, looking short term into the future as well as long term, and changing their goals to be less on meeting a certain profit or a certain revenue and more on looking at opportunities and ways to expand the business. Thank you.